Welcome to the Crunch Time YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about why the Brooklyn Nets should not trade for James Harden. So let's get right into the video. There are three main reasons why I think the Nets should not trade for James Harden, and they are: the fit is a bad fit, it's a poor fit, they will have no depth after the trade, and there's just better options in free agency. So let's start off with the first reason: it's a bad fit. If the Brooklyn Nets trade for James Harden, they will have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. None of those players are like exceptional defenders. James Harden has definitely gotten better. Kyrie and KD, they're alright. KD did have an Achilles injury though, so it's not like he's going to be better than he was before the injury. Having three ball-dominant players is also not what you want to have on your team. Like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, they all take 25-plus shots a game. The biggest issue, I think, is going to be about just the fit in general. What happens when one player is having an off night, one's having an on night? If James Harden starts off shooting like 2 for 10, because we've seen Harden shoot 3 for 18 in games, but he still will end up having like 30 points somehow. Like, will they let James Harden keep on shooting if he's doing poor? We don't see Kevin Durant have stat lines like that. Kyrie Irving, he could, but it's not like James Harden level compared to that. So that's going to be the biggest issue with James Harden and just the fit with Kyrie and KD. They also don't really do too much off-ball, which is a big issue. You need people who can cut, who are willing to run around screens. Like J.J. Redick, that's basically why he's been able to play for so long. He just runs around screens all day, able to get open looks. I don't think James Harden is going to do that. I don't think Kyrie or KD are going to do that. Another issue is someone's going to have to take a smaller role. I believe two of the people are going to have to take a smaller role, at least one. Let's look at the two most recent super teams, the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors. The Miami Heat had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh took a massive decrease in his workload, to say. He was used much less in Miami than he was in Toronto. Someone is going to have to lose their shot attempts, touches, whatever it is. And I don't know who it would be, because in my opinion, Kevin Durant is obviously the best player of the three, but he's coming off an injury, so that adds a whole new element. And I don't think KD or Kyrie or James Harden would be the number one over each other. They just seem pretty even in that aspect. So nothing would really change too much there. And Dwayne Wade even took a smaller role. So this would be very different because there wouldn't be a clear number one. Kind of like Golden State, the other super team, where they had KD, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. There wouldn't be a Draymond Green in this scenario, and all these three players, there isn't really a Klay Thompson. There's three superstars, all top 10 players. So that would be very interesting just to see it all play out. And the second reason I don't think the Nets should do this move is they'd have literally zero depth after this trade. If they're going to do this trade, they're going to have to give up Dinwiddie, going to have to give up Jarrett Allen and Caris LeVert, and that might include and they might have to give up other people like DeAndre Jordan, Nico Claxton. Like, you just don't want to give up that many people, especially if you already are a contending team and you only need a few more people. Like, why are you building the whole house again when you can just do some small repairs? It just doesn't make sense. You are not going to have any depth after this. You have to have people, if you want to win a championship, you have to have players who are going to have to step it up and who are not going to be able to get as many touches. And that's just not going to work out if James Harden goes to the Nets, because they're going to have to get an entirely new bench. And another big issue is you always want continuity on a team. You don't want to see people rotating in and out all the time. It helps having people like Caris LeVert, Jarrett Allen, Dinwiddie, who have been on this team for multiple years. That's what helps a team a lot. Players who just, if you have a team that just brings a lot of players, brings out a lot of players, and people don't really get to fit in and gel with each other, that team doesn't do well. Look at the Clippers. they didn't even do crazy moves during the season. They didn't change the entire bench. They added in 2 superstars, but then since they never really played as much in the regular season, there's a lot of issues there. And that's going to be the issue if the Nets get James Harden. There's just not going to be enough time for 3 superstars and an entirely new supporting cast to just gel with each other. And let's not forget, they have a first-year head coach in Steve Nash. So that does not help anything. And the third and final reason is there's just better options to help this team in free agency. Obviously, no one in free agency who the Nets will sign is better than James Harden. But there are options who will help this team more without having to give up everyone else on the team who's not KD or Kyrie. They can sign Paul Millsap, Jeremy Grant. They can get Marcus Morris or someone. They will not be taking like 15, 20, 25 shots like a James Harden, but they can take their 10 or so shots a game, play good defense, high effort, help on the fast break, rebounding. They can do that, add intensity, but they won't be taking up a ton of cap space. But you also will be able to keep your other role players, and you're adding in one player, not taking out 5 or 6 people to add in one player. So those are the 3 main reasons why I think the Brooklyn Nets should not trade for James Harden. Comment below what your thoughts are and what you think the trade package would be. Thanks for watching and have a great day.